Hey, what's up YouTube? Aeroplane here. I'm looking to create a leveling guide for Spellcaster Hierophant, and the aim of the video series that I'm aiming to create, this will be the first episode, will be pretty much how to level, and I'll try to cover as much of the basics and how to go through the whole leveling process, probably from Act 1 to Act 8 until Blood Aqueducts, and then you guys probably can take it from there. So that's the aim, and I'm going to split up the videos into individual acts to kind of create a little bit more bite size. It probably won't be bite size, it's going to probably be about 30 minutes per video. But yeah, I'll try to keep it as concise as I can while keeping all the important things there. But just a little bit about myself, I kind of league started as Hierophant for about 8 leagues in a row now, or something like that. Pretty much every league I league started Hierophant or some variant of it, and I pretty much just play Spellcaster. So if you ask me whether I've played any form of ballista totems or shrapnel totems or whatever attack based totems, I haven't, but I've seen many people succeeding very well, been quite high on the ladder with like alley hit totems with Avatar Fire or something like that, but I've never personally tried it before, so I can't handle any of those questions. As for Spellcaster variants, I've played many versions. I wouldn't say I've played all versions, but I played something like Arc, Freezing Pulse, Divine Ire, things like that, and I have some of the videos on my YouTube, and you can check those out, like build guides, build showcases, things like that. And I'm not a racer by any means, but I always strive to go fast. Usually I reach the end game in maps at league start around 4.5 hours. Not the fastest, but you know, I try to go faster. I have a full-time job, so this is not something that I do every day. I usually practice 1 week before league start, and that is how I play the game. I've got recently Mayhem rank 2, and that shows up on POE Racing, I think. That's one of my achievements, I would say, that I had, and it shows up here on POE Racing, Hierophant rank 2. And what doesn't show up here is, I think quite some time back, maybe 2 years ago, I was rank 9 in the synthesis race. So those are kind of the 2 races that I participated. Softcore, of course, and yeah, I did okay in those. So what we need for today's leveling session would be firstly, we need the racing filter that I'll be using today, and that is in Tytykiller's Discord, and he has a YouTube video showing talking about how to get that set up and everything, so I'll link that in the description. So that's the filter that I'm using, quadruple A caster, and it'll show pretty much the blue and the greens. You won't show like the attack weapons, which are like red and green links. You don't need those, so it doesn't show on the filter. It's really good, and it vocalizes any of those items, so you'll hear like BBG wand, tree blue wand, things like that, you know, triple glove, tree blue helm, things like that, and it's very useful. So that's the filter we need for today. That's the first thing, and second thing would be, you know, just to follow the guide, you know, what I'm going to show you today. So let's just go. Pick up the scepter, click on this guy, kill the zombie, grab the glacial hammer, and there we go. So at this point, I'm going to equip the glacial hammer. I want to put my move speed on the move only, sorry, on the key, on the keyboard, so that I can just move without using this, which means that I can have a jam on my mouse but still walk. I'm pressing pretty much T here on my skill bar. So for Brutus, Hillock, sorry, there are pretty much 2 ways I've seen racers do it. I could either just hit his face straight, which is what I typically do, or you can just dodge his attacks because he's so slow. So we want to hit until he's low, and then we just hit. So I don't usually want to lose too much life here, because there have been instances where I got like crit twice and then I die, so you don't want to get too low here. So you just hit him, and then you loot all the stuff. So I have a logout macro here, so I could just hit like the F9 key. You can use any logout macros available. For me, I use Awaken POE Trade, which has an aspect of logging me out to the character selection, which is useful. So here I vendor walk, I talk to Nessa, I vendor walk, so I'm nearer to the next vendor. I click continue, and then I'll look to vendor my items. In this case, I can just vendor everything I don't need, which is pretty much everything here. And then I'll look to purchase things. So two things I look out for here is when we want to get to Merveil or Brutus, we need, by the time we hit Brutus, before Brutus, we need blue blue, blue blue, and blue blue green, blue green, sorry. So minimally you need 2 links of blue blue and blue blue and 1 link of blue green. Best case scenario is you have 2 links of blue blue and a blue blue green. That's the perfect scenario. So we're gonna look for those here. So if we get 3 blue, that's perfect because we need 3 blue for Act 2. So if we get that here, I'll definitely buy this. And I see a blue green here, I'll definitely get this one as well. So for the blue green, I'll have Frost Bomb and Onslaught. For the 2 blues, I'll have Stun Blast Mine and Added Lightning. And if we have a blue blue green, that's the best case scenario. I'll have Orbital Storms, Frost Bomb, and Onslaught together. But in this case, I'll just put the Orbital Storms together with the Stun Blast Mine. That's fine. And we need one more 2 blues. That'll be for our movement skill. So in that scenario, we need Frost Blink and Arcane Surge. And after we kill Brutus, we'll switch to Frost Blink with Flame Dash. So that's the scenario here, and then we'll need to purchase the Stun Blast Mine. And we have one more Wisdom Scroll, so we're gonna go to Tytykiller and grab a blue skill gem. I'll explain what we need the blue skill gem for later. And then we're gonna look for a blue blue. In this case, there's a glove for 2 wisdoms. We can't afford that, so we don't buy it. There's a helmet here for 1 wisdom, so I'll get this helmet. And we're kind of set. So this helmet is blue blue green, and we don't get that. So for races, usually they'll come in here and type 2 Ns, and you see if there's a boots with the runners mod tag, and runners means 10% move speed, and it's the lowest level move speed. And the fastest way to search for a move speed boots in the vendor is typing NN. So once we're done, we just hit to the coast. So you can see that I haven't equipped anything yet, pretty much just because it's the least important thing to do. Once I hit the coast, I can just equip everything slowly.
What in God's name is that
So on my Stun Blast Mine, I'm going to equip it in the blue blue. And then over here, I want to put this on Attack Without Moving. And we don't really need to kill anything here. So you can see how as I'm moving, I actually level up my... Oh shit, it's actually the other side. I level up my skill, and yeah, that's pretty much it. For the blue skill gem, so why did we take the blue skill gem? Because we want a vendor, ideally before Merveil, we want to do a vendor recipe. We need a magic wand, firstly. We need an alteration, and we need a sapphire ring before Merveil. So vendoring this set of items will give us guaranteed flat added cold damage to our wands, which is very useful, especially in the early game, to do additional damage and helps us a lot. So to get a sapphire ring, that's one of the steps, is to vendor an iron ring together with a blue skill gem. And since we get a free blue skill gem anyway from the vendor, we will take the blue skill gem instead of the red one. Of course, if you are going to be leveling a fire skill, you want a red skill gem, right? But in this case, since we have a Frost Bomb as one of our skills, we will use blue skill gem to get sapphire ring to get cold damage to spells. Losing a lot of life here. Level Stun Blast Mine, and then we get the third little fossil here. So ideally we want to hit level 4 by the time we hit Submerged Passage. That's what I like. You technically don't need to. I've tried various runs where I just speed run everything, and you don't need level 4. That's fine, but there's a little bit more micromanagement when it comes to the when you hit the Submerged Passage. You need to level up and then equip like 4 gems, which is a bit hectic. So for myself, I don't consider myself a fast racer or anything, but I try to go fast, and leveling to 4 really helps. And as I can equip more quickly, I wouldn't need to kill monsters, level up, and then equip. I can just hit to Submerged Passage and then equip my stuff, so it's much quicker. So in this case, we go to the coast, we go to Mudflats, we come to Submerged, and then we go back to the coast to get to go to the Tidal Island, and then from there we get our Quicksilver Flask and Onslaught Gem once we head into Tidal Island. So when we come here, we always walk up first to check. So because I think like 90% of the time, something like that, it's faster to walk up. So what you want to look out for is a staircase. If there's a staircase, you backtrack. So we got a blacksmith whetstone, which is very, very good. We don't need a whetstone because we are spellcasting. So it's pretty much 4 wisdom scrolls. So this is huge. I definitely will vendor that for wisdom scrolls. You're so starved early game. So it's really, really good. So it looks very promising here. There's no stairs and there likely won't be any more until we hit Mr. Hillrig.
Wisdom.
Let me grab this medium mana flask. So the more mines there are in the chain, the more damage you deal. So it's better if you stack them up more. So I immediately know that I have two small life flasks. I picked up one more, which means I'm guaranteed a medium. I'll vendor that up for a medium life flask, so that'll be very useful. So here I go to Nessa, I vendor walk again. Quicksilver, onslaught. I'm gonna not click the help button there. It's gonna be dangerous because it will close my bar. And then I vendor all of these. So I want to get 1 transmute and 1 alteration minimally, and so that's what I'm going for. So you want to keep that in mind when you are vendoring your stuff. So I'm gonna vendor these. I forgot to vendor the life flask. I'll immediately get a medium, auto equip the quicksilver, and then make our purchases. So over here we need 3 wisdoms. So first thing I look out for is a blue green. Check my vendor. There's no blue green wand because I already have a 3 blue. That's really perfect. So I come over here. I'll need to buy 3 things. Arcane Search. Sorry, 2 things. Arcane Search and Orb of Storms. And then I'll need to go over to Tarkley. Check quickly for blue green. In here we get two rewards. First we get Frostbomb and then we get Frostbling. And then we go and check for blue green. And of course move speed boots, which we got. Very good. It costs 2 wisdoms, which we can afford. So that's perfect. And then we can sell our portals for more wisdoms. And you already noticed that we couldn't use the gems. Like I mentioned earlier, we are not level 4, but that's fine. So we can just equip this into the gloves that we picked up. And then we can equip the Arcane Search in a blue link, which will be the boots. And we'll look to equip the Frostbling into with the Arcane Search. And I'll put my Frostbomb with Onslaught, and then my Orb of Storms will be solo for now. So that'll be the plan. So we're gonna try to level up here. And then we leveled up. We're gonna close the help panel because it's gonna be a bit of irritant. And then we add all these. So when we hit the staircase, we want to drop a portal because later we want to come back and we want to grab the stuff, the skill point. So what you want to do is that you just want to keep going forward, and you want to place your skills in a way which kills units and gives onslaught. In this case, since we only have a blue-green, what I chose to do is I put the Frost Bomb with the onslaught. So you want the Frost Bomb to get the last hit, ideally. And yeah, proc the thing. And once you kill the unit, you get onslaught. So you saw my Arcane Search level up, but you don't level up the Arcane Search because you want to make sure that when you cast your Frostbling, it will always proc Arcane Search. And once you get like a Flame Dash every 2 times, you get Arcane Search. So you want to make sure of that.
The path becomes clear.
Make sure you use your skill points, and to make sure you maximize your damage. One more thing to note is that when you use Frostbling, make sure that you can see that I always use Frostbling when I'm beside enemies, and every time the number of enemies you hit with your Frostbling reduces the cooldown of Frostbling, which is very useful in this scenario. So make sure that when you use Frostbling, there's enemies either at the starting point of your Frostbling or at the ending point. So this helps to reduce the cooldown, and of course, and in that scenario, increase your speed in which you progress. Blue packs give more EXP, so in the event where you have not enough EXP, feel free to stop and kill some blue packs on the way. So over here, it'll be leveled up. So we're gonna aim for the damage cluster over there on the left side of the Templar. That's over here on Light of Divinity. I'll upload the POB for the leveling guide, which gives a lot of guide for the skill tree which you need at the different acts. And in this video series, I'll be uploading the videos act by act, so it's more of a bite-sized consumable piece and kind of easier for me to make as well, and not so long a video to upload, stuff like that. So hopefully this will become a useful guide. In terms of an amulet, we'll need a Jade amulet for Act 2. We'll be using HIEROPHANT
2B1G gloves.
2B1G gloves, so we need that. So that you can see how useful the audio is in helping us get this. So we immediately know that we can replace the gloves we have with the 2B1G that we just got. And we can get rid of that. So yeah, so that you can see how the filter is coming in very handy in these situations. So once we hit the prison, do you remember how we dropped the portal scroll at the submerged passage? So we're going back for that. So we hit the waypoint, we go back to Lionized Watch, and we take our portal back there. And then we're gonna get the submerged passage waypoint. Sorry, skill point. So it should be to the bottom over here.
I must have time
And yep,
to gather my
it's
will.
a bit of a detour. Some things blocking our way, but that's fine. The real things we want are the friends we meet along the way. Okay, so here it sometimes gets a bit tricky if you're new to this zone. If you don't do the zone often, so you want to go to the place with the most openness. So we just want to make sure. So you see the river here, it's a very good sign. You saw the crab coming out, that's usually a good sign that the boss is over here. So how do you want to maximize your damage? First, you drop all the storms down, which will do damage every time you cast a lightning spell within it. Second, you drop the frost bomb, then make sure that before you detonate, you frost blink to get the most out of your damage. And then pretty much that's the highest damage output you can get. Once you're done, log out macro, and then you head back to town, vendor all your stuff, get added lightning gem from Nessa. Oh, the thing screwed up. Okay, here. Okay, so we want an alteration scroll. Remember, we want to do the vendor recipe, so you need to manage that right now. So we need a mixture of 20 alteration shards and 7 more transmutation. That's what we need. And a sapphire ring. So we haven't gotten a sapphire ring yet, and neither have we gotten an iron ring. So we want a provision for all of that. So typically it'll cost 3 wisdom scrolls to get a sapphire ring. Here you can see 3 wisdoms. So we want to aim to get all of those. So we want to manage that. So we don't need the armor scrap for now. We got the equipment we need. We got move speed boots. We got blue green on the wand. We got a blue helm. That's perfect for us. And we at least have some wands which have like super good links that we can bring into Act 2. So here I'm going to vendor the armor scrap for wisdom scrolls because I know I don't need it and I need to get the sapphire ring. So here I'm gonna ID the rares to get more alt shards, and I'm just gonna ID a few more, make sure I have enough. So I need 7 more transmutes and 20 alts. So here we got 12 alts in total, and then we're just gonna grab our transmute with these remaining items. I'm gonna ID this. We get an alt. We get 17 transmutes, so all we need to do is just vendor some we just need to vendor some 1 or 2 more magic items, and we will get our transmute orb. So we're going to transmute this wand, and then we're going to purchase the sapphire ring when we can. In this case I can purchase it right now because I know that I won't need the portal scroll for the rest of the act, and I'll just need the wisdom here. And we can go grab the skill point from Tytykiller later, and we can go to the prison after this. So that's the overall idea here. There's quite a lot of things going on. So typically in this lower prison, if I see the trial, I'll do it. If I don't, I don't. But I'll walk in the area where trial usually is, so usually above the waypoint, somewhere over there. If you don't see it, that's fine. Sometimes it's in a different place and you don't encounter it, and then you don't do it. So how you identify a trial is usually the book in this area. If you see a book, it's probably the trial.
Have time to gather my will.
Ouch. We take this, go here. So here we want to find a waypoint to the upper prison next. So one more thing that I didn't mention is we want essences. So essences, we always do them. because essences give an essence, of course, and what an essence does is that it converts a normal item into a rare item. So why we need the rare item is because the rare item will give us a vendor recipe, which if you noticed earlier when we vendor, I mentioned earlier, is a ring, a wand, a magic wand, and the rarity of the ring determines the strength of the wand that you vendor.
Approach, challenger.
Oh, there's an open way out here. Typically there isn't. So if you vendor a normal ring, it'll give the lowest tier of flat damage. If you vendor a magic ring, it'll give higher. And at the end of Act 2, we want to vendor a rare ring, which gives us the most amount of lightning damage. So that's the idea there.
Ember Amulet.
Ember Amulet, we don't need that. So we want to find the waypoint here. So there's based on experience, there are typically only a few areas where the waypoint can be, and you can study the layouts and stuff to get a better grasp of where it is. Yeah, typically it's just if you LEAGUESTART practice enough, you will have a good idea of where the waypoints will be. But Upper Prison can be a very tricky place, and you might get lost. So don't get too disheartened. Sometimes you get a bad layout, sometimes you get a bad read. You think it's somewhere, but it's not. That. So over here, things to look out for. You want to make sure that you're always attack without moving. You take a small step forward, and then you start throwing your mines down. You want to go until like 11 or 12. Brutus comes forward. Make sure you proc your Frost Blink, which will proc Arcane Surge, which makes sure that your Storm Blast mines that you stacked up in a huge series will do more damage. And then you just go about your day. Oh, we didn't equip the added lightning. Oh my god, I screwed up. I was wondering why I do so little damage. You should be dead by now. In softcore you can just die, which I typically don't, because I forgot to equip the added lightning. I screwed up big time there. The peak. But typically you have your added lightning there and he'll die very quickly. I was wondering why he wasn't dying. Yeah. So the gameplay wise, it was as I described what you should normally do. Tytykiller, you get your skill point, and then you get the flame dash for him as well. Flame dash, skill point. We can't grab the skill point because of our slots. Here we want to get a transmute scroll, so we just vendor everything. So for Act 2 we want to get some alts, so here I'm just gonna alt ID some of the stuff because we need items. So here I'll demonstrate how to do the vendor recipe. Firstly, you need a magic wand, and then you will need a sapphire ring and an alteration. With this vendor recipe, you get flat added cold damage. If your ring is of higher rarity, you get a higher flat damage. So I'll go ahead and vendor this, and I'll equip back the stuff. So that's great. I didn't get the dweller reward. That's fine. We'll get back here again later. So let's go. So over here. So now we're progressing towards Ship Graveyard. So at Ship Graveyard, there are two things to do. Firstly, we want to get the skill points from the Fairgraves. And if we don't see it, I typically don't go out of my way to get it. So here we see an essence. We do it for sure, because at the end of Act 2, before the end of Act 2, we want at least 2 rare rings, and you either have an alchemy or essences. So the more common approach would be essences. Because you'll find more of those along the way, just like the friends you made along the way. So here we have 3 medium life flasks, which you can vendor up to a large life flask. This typically doesn't happen, but in this situation, that's what I would do. It's not common to get so many.
Servant thanks you, my god.
Yeah, so we want to get a waypoint. So because we're on a waypoint back here, if we find the Fairgrave stuff, the all flame. So we saw Fairgraves there, so we know exactly where he is. If you run through the middle, you'll typically see the waypoint for the Fairgrave stuff. So it's over here. Perfect. And then we just go in. So at the end of this, we will typically portal. We'll log. Sorry. We can go out of the portal and then we go to the next zone before we portal back. So that's the plan. This zone can also get tricky. I feel like they changed it in the recent patches, at least in the like 3 patches ago or something. 3 zones ago. So augmentation is not bad because at the end of Act 2 you get a move speed craft from the caverns or something like that, which is 3 augmentations. So in the event where you don't have a move speed boots by then, which is possible, you can use that craft to get move speed. Artisan is a confirm do, especially in softcore. I don't even care. This is huge for League Start especially. This gives so many wisdom scrolls, it's very useful. So we want to try to get out of here as soon as we can. It's taking a while. Get all flame and exit. Oh, what? Didn't click on it. Okay, then we proceed to the end. It's typically on the right side when you face it from where you're walking from, like here. It's on the right side where you're walking. So you're walking from here. The right side is here. So typically the cavern of Wrath or whatever, it's here. So now we can switch out our Frostbling. Typically you want to switch out at the previous zone. I forgot to do that, and then we can switch to Frostbling. So here we want to get Light of Divinity, and for the damage, and before Merveil at least we want to get Holy Dominion. Oops. Oh, we can't get over. My gosh.
I must
Maybe
have
here?
time
Okay.
to gather my will. Please understand.
So here, during this time, we can manage our inventory. So we know that what we can vendor. By vendoring this, we get 1 more transmute. We can vendor the 3 life flasks. We can vendor the two armor scraps. And then we just grab all the stuff, the good stuff, and then we portal out. And then remember, we have 2 more level up stuff that we can get from the vendors. Nessa provides some gems, so we don't need any of these gems. If you feel like you're gonna use them in the future, you can grab any of these. If not, you can just leave them out. Blue, red, we don't really need those. I can ID this. And then we can vendor the 3 medium life flasks. We get a large life flask, which is very good. We picked up a frost wall, we don't really need that, so we can vendor this. And we can vendor the purifying flame, which we no longer need. That was in the event we got an iron ring. We can vendor an iron ring with a blue gem and we get a sapphire ring. So in this situation, we grab the skill point from Bestel and this guy, and then we go back to the Merveil caverns. So we're happy here. We get Holy Dominion and we get the end point. So we're gonna go towards LE Overload, and we'll usually get it before the we'll get it before Weaver. So that's where we want to get that. So we proceed towards the next skill point. For Merveil, we're all set. We have all the skill points we need to fight Merveil. We have all the gem setups we need for Merveil. So we are happy and good with our links, and we have our craft ready as well. We have the cold damage craft, which is very nice. So here we're gonna get our butt to the next zone, and then we get to Merveil, and then we are done with Act 1. Then we go to Act 2.
Approach, challenger.
So typically if you're playing with a party member, like a shadow, a witch, a duelist, stuff like that, you have access to smoke mine. Unfortunately for Templar, we don't have access to smoke mine, and it's a very powerful leveling skill to use. You won't get it if you play alone, but that's fine. We can get it at X6 after we kill Kitava, unfortunately. It does help you with the leveling quite a lot. It makes you a lot faster. So that's a downside of Templar, I guess. Nice shortcut. So we take a step forward, same as Brutus. We try to drop the mines underneath Merveil, stack it up until quite a few, and then make sure that we flame dash twice to get the damage up. So flame dash, you need to use it twice to get the Arcane Surge proc. So to maximize your damage, you need
I
to
must have time to
Orb of
gather
Storms.
my will.
Drop your Storm Blast Mines. That's the most damage you can get because every time you use a lightning skill in your Orb of Storms, it will do a mini lightning. And then you want to Flame Dash across to do DOT damage, and drop your Frost Bomb to do exposure. And you wouldn't mind dying softcore, but typically I wouldn't. I wasn't really looking at where Merveil is shooting. If you get a lucky Sapphire Ring drop, that's perfect because it will increase your tankability during the Merveil fight, and that'll be very useful.
A woman corrupted beyond humanity.
So once we grab everything
I
that we
must
can,
cure this
we
blade
just
before it
exit.
seconds
So you
all
can
God's
either log out
creation.
here to vendor all your stuff. If you need the gem from Nessa,
This forest.
and vendor your stuff, but typically I'll just walk forward after Merveil kill because there'll be a vendor along the way as well. And you don't really get many items in this zone. The little monkeys, they're easy to kill, they don't really drop much stuff, so don't need to worry too much. And yeah, so then we reach Act 2. So I'm gonna split up this video into mini part series, so I'll end the video here. Just vendor. So at this point, Act 2, we need 5 wisdom scroll, 5 alterations, orb alterations. So we'll need a lot of those. We need Herald of Ice, Herald of Thunder, with Conviction, and ideally we can purchase 1 or 2 other gems. 1 or 2 other gems with spare alts, but we don't for leveling. We'll need the 2 other alterations for our wand craft. So we want to aim for 5 alterations here. So we need to vendor a lot of ID items. So this is where if you have spare wisdom scrolls, you'll definitely use them here. And that is why I said that if you have artisan strong boxes are huge, if you drop blacksmith whetstones, armor scraps, things like that, those will be huge here. So here I got another alteration of 5 alts, so that's really good. And yeah, so that is the state we are so far. And I'll continue the video in Act 2. Thanks for watching, guys.